Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost-Designate, we're in a battle against Netflix and porn. As a statement of broadcasting intent, albeit an offhand one, it is witty and yet combative, near scientific in its strategic precision and yet rich in cultural ambition. And it is perhaps characteristic of Alex Mahon, the first female chief executive of Channel 4 and one of the UK's most distinguished creative leaders, whom we honour today. Alex has every reason to feel modestly triumphant as she arrives here in York. In January, the government abandoned its latest attempt to sell Channel 4 into private hands. It was a highly charged political battle where Alex, although resolutely independent, nonetheless quietly confronted ideology and, dare I say, the former Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries with rational advice and cultural logic. Privatisation, Alex argued, would not protect Channel 4's public service remit, its consistently provocative voice in our national conversation, from, to quote, a growing concentration of power in the hands of just a few tech behemoths who increasingly want to decide what we read, watch and listen to. The pursuit of profit, Alex warned, would only diminish Channel 4's public service bulwark against online harms and the misinformation that is continually a threat to society and to children especially. The government's retreat, by the way, was particularly welcomed in Yorkshire. Screen production here has thrived since Channel 4 transferred its national AQ to Leeds in 2021. It was a shrewd political and cultural move, a seizing of the agenda to promote creativity outside of the London bubble, for which, again, Alex Mahon shares much of the credit. So, a willingness to speak truth to power, a determination to pursue social change. Alex describes herself as a feminist and is a demonstrable champion of diversity and inclusion. A strategic eye for the future. Alex has 4 children and has made young people's access to high-quality content and authoritative information central to Channel 4's plans, and a skillful balancing of cash versus creativity. Alex Mahon's particular style of creative leadership, perhaps, is defined by an ability to juggle the complicated moving parts of a broadcaster whose remit necessarily places it in the cultural, political, and social firing line. No surprise, then, that navigating and confronting complexity have been consistent features in Alex's upbringing, education, and business career. There was Alex's childhood in Edinburgh, where, as one of 9 stepbrothers and sisters, she manoeuvred through what she herself describes as a non-standard household. Then there was Alex's degree at Imperial College London, where a talent for tackling high-energy physics led to cancer research and a PhD in 1998, followed by a stint at CERN, the European Organisation for Nuclear Research in Switzerland. And then there was an insight into the business and creative potential of the internet that saw Alex enter commerce as a strategy consultant and then enter broadcasting when she was headhunted by RTL, the Europe-based global media conglomerate. Alex arrived in TV at a volatile and challenging time. Here in the UK, a relatively stable model, which comprised larger producer broadcasters like the BBC or commissioner broadcasters like Channel 4, working with small independent companies, all this was being fundamentally disrupted. First, by the emergence of a new breed of super indie, production companies gathering strength in numbers to wrest control of creativity and leverage their intellectual property. And then, of course, by streaming, the inexorable move away from scheduled TV and top-down control. Alex was well positioned to realise the business possibilities of both. At RTL, Alex worked on 2 of the conglomerate's production brands, Fremantle and Talkback Thames, makers of The X Factor. Her former boss there, Peter Fincham, described Alex's people skills and her determination. If she were a politician, Fincham said, she would read her red box every night and be totally on top of the brief in the morning. Then, in 2006, Alex took what she herself describes as the super risky move to join Elizabeth Murdoch at Shine, then little more than a startup production company, as managing director. Elizabeth Murdoch described Alex as the sharpest intellect in TV. Together, they embarked on a campaign of strategic development and mergers and acquisitions, which, in less than 8 years, transformed Shine into a super indie. 27 production brands in 12 countries, including the US, exporting major formats like MasterChef, Biggest Loser, and Broadchurch around the world. Revenues in the hundreds of millions. Alex became Shine's chief executive in 2012, staying until the group merged with Endemol, owners of Big Brother, in 2014-15. During her 8 years there, by the way, Alex also found time to have 4 children. As I said, managing complexity is one of Alex's singular talents. After Shine came the Foundry, the world-leading special effects software company. You've seen the Foundry's impact on films like Avatar and Avengers Endgame, to name just 2 massive CGI fests. Alex became chief executive there before Channel 4 came knocking in 2017. Looking back, Alex was probably always destined to run a major broadcaster. Elizabeth Murdoch described her as by far the best candidate to become the first female Director General of the BBC. But it's clear that the Channel 4 job has excited Alex's particular sense of creative, commercial, and social purpose. We are fighting for something, Alex told Parliament's Culture, Media and Sport Committee in July 2022, as she defended the public service remit that screens the Paralympics and gives us dispatches and Gogglebox. Alex's impact, however, is not confined to such headline-grabbing achievements as seeing off privatisation or moving substantial parts of Channel 4 into the regions, or, directly off the back of the COVID production shutdown, delivering £1.2 billion worth of revenue in 2021. Impact is also registered in Alex's determination to see Channel 4's very organisation as a vehicle for social change. It's got purpose seeking out of every pore, Alex is quoted as saying. It stands for LGBT rights, diverse communities, and feminism. And that purpose has been realised in a series of major in-house initiatives. Closing a gender pay gap that stood at over 28%, 10% higher than the national average when Alex arrived, aiming for a 50-50 split in Channel 4's top jobs by the end of this year. Projects that, in an industry that is still, frankly, largely male-dominated, have surely been accelerated by the For Women initiative, with its focus on women's health, safety, and in a groundbreaking move on supporting women through the menopause. This is Channel 4 living its remit, Alex said, normalising a taboo subject by making it more visible. Now, of course, shattering the screen industry's glass ceiling, advocating social change, and promoting a risk-orientated creative agenda that has annoyed Boris Johnson, while also delivering naked attraction, has not endeared Alex to everyone, perhaps. Enter the Daily Mail, which, in the course of keeping what it describes as Channel 4's wokeism in its crosshairs, has on occasion chosen to target Alex Mahon personally. Her fashion sense, Alex is a non-executive director of Chanel. Her salary, her alleged personal responsibility for cancelling shows the Mail itself had already lambasted. It is to Alex's eternal credit that she has risen above much of this. I hope, however, that you will allow me to note the hypocrisy and the continued casual sexism that the Me Too movement, and indeed Alex's own committed advocacy, has still sadly to erase from popular discourse and some parts of the popular media. On a lighter note, there is one other aspect of Alex Mahon's stellar CV that I have not yet mentioned. It is her attendance at space camps in Russia, South Korea, and Japan. Alex appears has always fancied becoming an astronaut. Well, Alex, I can't guarantee that what we offer today will necessarily lift you into orbit. But after 25 years of relentless achievement, and as you prepare Channel 4 for the next phase in its battle with Netflix and with porn, I hope this ceremony will elevate you and your spirits all the same. Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost-Designate, I have the honour to present to you Alexandra Rose Mahon for the award of Doctor of the University, Honoris Causa.
Through the power vested in me by the University of York, I have great pleasure in conferring upon you the degree of Doctor of the University, Honoris Causa. Congratulations.
Wow, Dr. Ed. You made me sound way better than it does on Wikipedia. So apparently I've got 3 minutes to give you my life tips. But having looked at you all come up, you look quite polished and successful, and I'm not sure that you're actually going to need them. But I'm going to give it a go, otherwise they might take my new degree away from me. So luckily I only have 3 pieces of advice, and they're nothing to do with my career, so you don't need to hear all that again. My pieces of advice hold for whatever you do in life, and they're not that complicated. The first is super simple, and it applies to all jobs. And it is, just get done what they give you to do. I've been a kitchen porter, and a waitress, and a barmaid, and a dishwasher. None of this is in that speech. I've worked in a fish and chip shop. I've been a face painter, and for a while I was a not very good coder. None of those jobs are mentioned in that career summary, but they all count. And in all of them, I used my utmost to just get done properly what I was given to do. And it's my advice that bosses notice that. They notice that if you're a waitress, and they notice that if you're a chief exec. They want people who take responsibility for delivering. And the person who gave you the stuff to do will notice when you do it, and that is the biggest and the simplest trick to how you get more responsibility. The second one is about how you behave. It sounds like something that your grandma might have told you, or a slightly overreaching teacher, but it's to treat everyone well. Treat them like you might want to be treated. Give people the benefit of the doubt, at least until you know they don't deserve it. Be polite, be empathetic, be sympathetic. Listen to other people. Be respectful, whether it's the cleaner or your boss. You will go up in life, and unfortunately, you will also go down. And the way you behave to others has a myriad of unexpected and untrackable and unpredictable impacts on your life, on your own future, and on your career. And the best thing of all is it's really completely free to be nice. And my third piece of advice, if I can get this in 3 minutes, is what to do when things don't work out. This is when it's time to restart. You need to reset your plan, you need to work out how to get going again, and you need to restart. And maybe I don't need to tell you as a class that, because you've already been through COVID. But life goes well at some points, and it goes much less well at others. And one of the biggest skills that you can teach yourself is to complete what I might call a personal hard restart. Lots of lives and lots of careers look unfettered and smooth on LinkedIn or on Instagram. They look magical there. But nobody's career is like that in reality. So when things go wrong, which they do, you need to focus simply on the next step. You don't need to work out the ending, it's just the next step. You need to put the failure behind you and realize that challenges are part of the reality of our lives. But most importantly, your life is not a dress rehearsal. It's the only one you're going to have, and in no way will it go as you might be sitting there predicting today. So my advice is to embrace that. Don't get waylaid by the inevitable setbacks that will come. Just get yourself ready to reboot when they do. And if I were to leave you with just one recommendation in life, it would be, as you go out into the world after today, it would be to be curious, to ask questions, to learn things, to meet people who are not the same as you, to travel if you can, to open doors that you don't know what's behind them, to think and to question, to explore. As maybe the best scientist, Albert Einstein, once said about himself, "I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. So that's my advice. I hope it helps. It's been a delight to be here today and a real honor. And so I thank you all and wish you good luck for the future.